Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. Today we are going to be looking at my deck profile. This is my Sprite, kind of power spell, kind of heavy going second build. I wouldn't say going second, but like half the deck, maybe not half, maybe like a third of the deck is made of going second cards. So it's more like a good balance of I can build a strong board and try and lock you out, and I can potentially break boards if I draw the right cards. So this was the deck I won with at OTS Championship. So not a big achievement, but it's something that I wanted to share with you guys, seeing as this was like my third non-just low course event, and it was pretty nice coming first place, I guess. So my record was 5-1 at the end, which was okay. It's a bit unfortunate that I did have to lose one, and I have no idea how I came first. Someone must have, gone undefeated and lost in the last round to someone who had one loss already for me to get the win with the tiebreaker. Overall, it was pretty long and grindy the entire tournament. Made a couple of really bad misplays towards the end, but I feel like if I had played correctly, I would have won anyways. Just even earlier and even faster. So that's something to keep in mind. What else? I didn't get the mat. That was really disappointing. So I'm going to go back today. I'm going to go ask him, hey, has the mat come in? Because it is a pretty cool mat. It's a Chaos mat. I'm not a big fan of like the archetype itself, but the mat looks cool. And I feel like it's something I should have, I guess. All right, let's get into it. So the nid token does not matter. That's for when I get nid, impermanent and nid, the usual unlucky combo. All right, so starting off, we have the Zeus package. So we have 2 Zeuses there. With the Downer Magician, and then I run both the Ninja Mosquito and the Sky Cav. So some cash players will see the Ninja Mosquito and pull it out because I do play 2 of everything else. I play a double Sprint and a double Gigantic, of course. I'm not playing 3. So we'll rip one or the other. So you might ask, why not run 2 Mosquitoes? I actually kind of like this card just in case I do come across a random player that runs Mirror Jade and somehow decides not to activate the effect, or maybe has activated the effect already, and it's just a Mirror Jade on board. So if I want to bounce it to extra deck, he doesn't get the plate does not get the end of turn destroy all monsters your opponent controls effect because it bounces to the extra deck, even if it leaves the field. Next we have the IP Masquerena, pretty standard. You can link off into a couple of things, but mainly it'll be going to Zeroboros. I'll explain everything in a second, but Zeroboros actually feels kind of nice. I say this because it's mainly for all the trap decks, right? As long as they don't have a way to actually break your board early, if they don't draw into an evenly off the top or something, or in the opening hand, it should be pretty easy to follow up and kill them afterwards. Because this is assuming you're going, second game going first or third game going first. As long as you know that they're on traps already, like any kind of trap deck, whether that be Trap Trick or even Lab, of course, or even like Eldritch if someone's still playing that these days, it is pretty good. So you make an IP under Sprint, and then on their turn you activate IP's effect, and then you chain it with Starter or something. So you go into Zeroboros and then banish the entire field after they set 5. So it works pretty well if they don't open evenly. If they open evenly, it's a bit unfortunate because even if you have Carrot on board, you have to distribute one of these off to, the Sprint or the IP. You'll tribute one of these off to actually get the effect to negate, but otherwise it works pretty well. We have double Sprint. Sprint is just a really nice card. So it's 2 in 1. One, it dumps 1, and then that's usually the angle to special summon 2 Nimbles. The second effect is an interruption and is pretty nice in that aspect. Next we have the 2 Gigantics, pretty standard as well. Gigantic. Some people say Gigantic and now it's gotten into me. But Gigantic sprites, also very standard. Maybe 3 in the future, but I don't think we have the need for 3 right now because I do feel like we run out of resources in the main deck pretty quickly, especially without Elf and with no recycling ability. So Gigantic has less and less targets as the game goes on. By the time you get to the third one, like the need for the third one, there's probably like 1 blue, 1 jet at most in your deck. Yeah. Next we have the rest, like the board breaking / the tech card in Mannequin. But okay, these 3 cards, pretty much just board breaking. Soul Sweeper I don't use that often, but I probably should try and use it more often. Cerberus is good for breaking apart boards, especially going second. If you hard draw the Angler, it works really well as well. Same goes for Phoenix. So you summon either of them, you dump the Angler off, and then you pop whatever. Even if the pop doesn't go through, the next chain link you can activate the Angler and then bring out the 2 beavers. And then you can make a big gigantic sprite with the beaver and the Cerberus. And finally, we have the Mannequin Cat. So my Mannequin Cat targets, thanks to Ding, I'm running a very similar thing, well, pretty much the same thing, right? So Thunder King Ryo and Goliath. I feel like those cards are very good in this format just because a lot of decks do play into them. And the thing is, right, as you play more of this, you'll eventually hit that stage where, well, I should say as time goes on, you'll eventually hit that stage where everyone knows what the cards are, right? Like this OTH championships, people still didn't expect it. They still didn't know. They read Goliath and were like, oh wow, it's Goliath. As more and more people play those 2 cards, Thunder King or Goliath, or even like Jinzo, right? They'll kind of expect that they'll play around the Mannequin Cat. So there is a debate to eventually take out those cards entirely, because they'll always try and play around this card by either popping it first or like making some weird line to somehow attack it first or something. Alright, so next part, we have our main starters, the sprite stuff. So very standard 3 blue. Where are our OTs? I'm in Australia, where are the OTs there? 3 jet, standard 1 red, standard 1 carrot. I'm not playing 2 of either of them. I may consider that in the future because yes, we do run through it really quickly. And then there's basically no way to bring it back aside from Mannequin or like, yeah, I don't play some Summoner. Summoner, yeah. I do feel like there might be a place for Sprint, no not Sprint, the battle step one, so the grey one, Pixies. I feel like there may be an argument for Pixies to come back, because it kind of feels like pretty much like a battle trap, right? You starter into blue, and then you get the Pixies, and then you kind of defend whatever. If they threaten to like battle phase IP you, attack your monster in the battle phase under IP, while you still have IP, then yeah, you can kind of just protect yourself with that one attack. But right now, probably not strong enough to keep on board. Maybe when there are more towers in the format, then yeah, maybe you can consider it. Triple starter, obviously. So double cross, and also you might notice that I don't have any smashes. Double cross, I feel like, is a very strong card when it works, but going second, of course, it does suck. It's a brick. It's a very hard brick. However, I do still... I'd still say no smashes. No smashes simply because Elf used to generate you that 1 extra material, right? But like our end boards right now are typically pretty weak, and you just can't afford to really have that extra body to banish off for these smashes. Going second, however, kind of the same story. Like there are so many interruptions right now in the game, it's hard to spare 1 body for that. Double cross, I don't know. I don't feel too good about it now. I think I might honestly consider just playing triple starter and that's it. I feel like this could be like an econ or something, so going second it's viable, going first still has some use. I mean, it does also protect, right? It's kind of like if I draw this versus if I draw econ. Usually this will just be something to defend you. So if there's something like Fenrir and trying to attack over something without actually triggering anything, then you'll double cross and take it, right? Then you have a free banish on field as well on monster effect. But under every other scenario, like econ basically does the same thing. It just stops your opponent from attacking over something. It stops you from losing an interruption for free. It also has some synergy with Hyperia, because if they don't do anything, somehow they end their turn with no interaction. You can special on Hyperia to your Link 2 zone. But seeing as I don't run Hyperia, I don't think it's very good. Yeah, so that's the sprite stuff. And then we have the normal summon, so triple beaver, double angler, and soul scissors. I've been testing with soul scissors, and I really like soul scissors. I feel like it's better than Hyperion because it doesn't it's not a brick when you have Prosperity live, right? When you activate Prosperity, because you can't draw again. And it's pretty much always live. It's pretty easy to get out, like when a monster is destroyed, right? You can even go, let me pull out, where is the Cerberus? Your Cerberus. If this is in your opening hand, you dump it first, and then you pop something with Cerberus, and then you go Soul Scissors. Once that monster is destroyed, can you even do that in the same chain link? I don't know. Maybe you can't, because it needs to be in grave for when that happens. I think you can. And then Soul Scissors comes back and can link off. So not link off. Xyz overlay into Gigantic for a big one. Basically for free, right? You get 2 monster pops and a free overlay. Otherwise, I've forgotten this quite a few times on DB, especially when I was testing. They attack over a monster, and I'll forget to activate this, and it makes a huge difference. Like just being able to pull something else and have a body on board for the following turn. And then, of course, I talked about it just then, Thunder King and the Goliath. 2 very good cards. This format, they hit quite a few things, and it covers quite a lot of attributes and types as well. So we have Dragon. Thunder is it's like Sprite, right? Basically just Sprite. Dragon is for branded Despia, of course, the fusions, and also the Bestials are all dragons. So if they summon something, you can just summon on Goliath, and then that's basically game for them. Earth hits Naturia, also hits Fenrir and Kashtira. What else is there? I think that might be it for like the main ones this format. I guess Earth Machines, but like you'll never see those, right? And Thunder King is for Sprite, of course, because of the Thunder. Any light deck. I can't think of any right now aside from Hugin. So in Runic Sprite, if they summon out Hugin first, especially if you flip an anti-spell, they will chain a spell to special summon out Hugin to try and search for the field spell, try and get things in grave. Doesn't really accomplish too much. But even if without anti-spell, right, if you go first and just make the Mannequin Cat, they summon out Hugin, you summon out Thunder King, and then they discard it for no reason. They can't search for the field spell anyways. Pretty strong. Otherwise, worst case scenario, this is just a normal summon. This is a hard break, but I feel like it's so worth it. So Goliath versus Sloth. I feel like Sloth gets run over by a lot of monsters in this format, so it's really easy to just attack over and kill. And without that much interruption in the form of like removal on their turn, it's kind of hard to defend your monster. That's why I was considering Econ, but in case they have another way to remove this, I feel like it's just easier having a bigger body with 2750 instead of the 2250 or something that Sloth has, which, you know, Bestial also kills. Maybe it was 24, I don't remember, but Bestial kills him anyways. Yeah, that's that. And then hand traps. Standard 3 Ash, standard 3 Imperm. So this is not very standard, but I feel like it's starting to grow on people. Ghost Bell, I feel like, is pretty good this format. It's mainly because I don't like, you know, just losing straight up to branded Despia if they go first and they, you know, expulsion into Nightmare or Ra's Disciple, if they just lock you straight up. So I feel like Ghost Bell is very good for that, assuming they don't banish both their targets, which can happen, but they don't tend to do it as often. What else does Ghost Bell hit? So let's think of all the meta decks. Kashtira, it hits Birth, and I think that's about it, right? So it's not amazing against Kashtira, but yeah. Naturia, it's very good. Striker, it's very good. When they try and add engage back with Kagari, it's amazing. Stops it again. There are a few other applications. Big Welcome Labyrinth. I believe it stops that as well, the summon. Not exactly sure on the ruling of that, but it's a bit weird. Okay, and then we have 3 prosps. Just consistency. A lot of people will ask, like, can you play without the prosps? I'd say, I mean, you can, right? You can technically play without whatever. You can play without the sprite stuff. Like, you can play with 1 blue. You can, but like, it's nowhere near as good because you'd rather draw the blues often. Same thing with the prosp. I'll quickly talk about the prosp targets as well, actually. So what you banish. So going first, I feel like my blind board is usually always just a Sprind with Mannequin Cat, like this, with 2 materials under it, and maybe a carrot or a red or whatever I open, right? And and then I'll have like a starter set or something, or double cross. And so I'd say the IP into Zero Burrows is mainly for like a game 2 or game 3 once you know they're running traps, or something you can't mannequin cat at least. Remember, if you go this line, you are giving up your bounce with sprint because you won't have Nixies on field. Otherwise, if you're going first, also a Zeus because they haven't ripped the other one out. Also a sprint because you're assuming that's resolving. And probably like these two. So the remnants, something like that. I'd always like to keep one of the Zeus attack targets in the extra deck. Maybe I can swap out like a Ninja Mosquito for a Cerberus or something. I don't know. It really depends, right? Going second, it's a bit more difficult because you need to figure out like what you still need, what you don't need, based on your hand and the board that their opponent has. So that's like that changes from time to time. So I can't really give you a set one for that. Okay, so that was the main deck. Sorry, the hand traps. And finally, we have Change of Heart. So going second cards, right? Change of Heart. Should put these first actually. Triple attack thrust. I feel like I'm running 2 mainly because same argument as triple attack's talent, right? The same reason why people don't run 3. They eventually cut it down to 2, because you don't want to draw 2 in your starting hand or any of your hands, right? So same idea. If you want to draw 2 of these, why would you want to draw 2 of these, right? So don't run 3, just run 2. 2 is fine. Then you can run 1 extra spell or trap. So triple attack's talent, amazing. Draw 2 or just take a monster and then overlay into Zeus after attacking. Change of Heart, just take Lightning Storm because there are a lot of spell traps. Also pops monsters. See, this was underrated, but now people are picking it up again. I feel like people always underrate this. It's good. It's an amazing card. Evenly, enough said, right? Evenly is amazing. And Board Breaker, Econ. Board Breaker all going first. So for the third Econ, I reckon I'm probably gonna take out the double cross for it, because I really feel like Econ is just straight up better, right? It has applications going first or second. This can special from grave, can take, sure, but Econ kind of can take as well, and it's not as situational. You don't have to attach it as Xyz material. You don't have to put it under a link 2 specifically. Remember, the reason why you can't summon under Zero Burrows is because it specifies you have to summon under link 2. Alright, that's the main deck. So now I'm going to talk about my basic end board. So typically, let's do some starting hands as well, actually. So typically, I mentioned in my first game, I'll just try and lock them out, right? So we'll try and lock them out with either the Thunder King or the Goliath, but that doesn't always happen. Sometimes you draw them as well, and it kind of sucks. But if you can't lock them out, it's basically an auto win with the Goliath at least. I summoned it against a Brenner player in my final game, and it was really strong. And I loved it. Felt good. They just basically had to pass there. Be careful not to lock yourself out there as well, because you can't really link it off or anything. You don't have any other tribute monsters you can get rid of it with. But at that point, it should just be game. Let's talk about side deck actually before we do some test hands. So side deck, 2 more Evenlies. Spell trap removal especially, because I feel like it's just amazing. It's good against Trap Trick as well. Labyrinth, whatever. Branded Despia as well. I think it hits like almost every deck, even like in Mirror Match and the Sprite. D-Barrier, oh yeah, I forgot to say Thunder King's really good against the Sprite as well, because you can't search. D-Barrier, self-explanatory, fusions, exceeds, whatever. Anti-spell. Not many people play this. I feel like it's really good going going first, right? You flip it, what are they going to do? How are they going to board break you? They can't Lightning Storm, can't Dark Hole, Raigeki, whatever. Because I feel like this deck is really prone to those cards, especially against like a striker deck, right? They'll just Raigeki you turn after turn, and you're just like, alright, I can't do anything. Your board just dies without the Toad and the Recursion. Pointer, you point, pick out a card. Good. Duster. I feel like Cosmic is better than this, but I literally just have this in here because it's a nice print, right? Like people run Runic, first of all, this doesn't hit them, because if they have a special summon in their hand, then like there's Hugin Protect. Otherwise, what other applications? Right, a lot of Heavenly Prison will sometimes be there for Labyrinth, so it doesn't actually hit them either. Otherwise, when you can't get off, it's nice, but I reckon Cosmic is probably just straight up better. gets around both of those cards that I mentioned earlier. Alright, 2 Bestial Drill Swarms, 1 Mag. I feel like this is an okay ratio. I might even run 2 Mags. For locals at least, I would take this out for the Mag, because I feel like Mag is, like, the Bestials are still really good this format. They hit Math Mech, they hit, of course, the Branded Despia, and what else is there? There's something else, but it does hit like a couple of decks, and I feel like it's pretty good. Striker as well, yeah. I'm talking about like these decks more so because my locals, right, is heavily populated. Not the one that I attended this time, but my other locals, I put them in. And it came up like once or twice, I think. Like they were trying to banish there and stuff. I chained it to banish the same target, and I got mine off, it didn't. Jinzo, funny card against the trap decks. I summoned it once against Labyrinth, and basically won a free game. And then time. You guys know this. Alright. Now let's do some test hands while I talk about my matchups. Okay, so my matchups. First game was against Ninjas. This was actually my buddy, so we matched against each other. And the OTS championships was how many players? Like 47 players in total, so it's pretty big. Decently sized for an OTS championship. I forgot I already power shuffled, so I'll just like cut it a few times or something and then draw 5. Second game was against Jonah playing Kashtira. So it's Jojo ASMR. And to be fair, he bricked. He drew like a couple of spells, and I just flipped off anti-spell and it was over. He did have a couple of starters, but I was able to just disrupt him, and that was that. I hate drawing this card. Unless I go second. If I'm going second, then it's fine. As long as I can establish like a Cerberus or a Phoenix, because I discard for cost, then it's fine. I can still make a board. Yeah. Alright. So same idea as Ding. You want to make a gigantic as soon as you can, basically, to play around Nib, right? If you get hand trapped, you should hopefully have one more extender. You can also afford to go one more card past the gigantic before activating an effect. So maybe like 1 to 2 cards on board, and then summon a jet or a blue search or something else to extend past if you need to, and then go into gigantic, and then yeah. People rarely have like a gamma or like a ghost dagger because it isn't very good this format. So typically your gigantic will stick on the board, or yeah, if it sticks, it's fine. Even if it gets impermed or veiled or ashed or whatever, right? Because you can still link off into sprint. You just have a weaker board. You have a sprint and a mannequin can. That's it. That's your end turn. If you get nib, they're unlucky, right? Like nib and negate beats like pretty much half the meta, so it's fine. Alright, let's look at this hand. I'm just gonna play it out while talking about the matchup, because I'm not gonna be explaining the basic combos. I'm assuming you guys, if you guys are watching this video, you should know the basic stuff already. So actually with Beaver, I feel like starting off with Beaver and drawing an Angler really sucks, because you can't summon out the other Angler for sprint later. So maybe just even summon it and pass here, right? Not pass, but like avoid using an effect. So summon it, always summon it under, well, I stopped summoning under these just because it's under the EMZ, just in case you want to double cross after, right? So we'll summon Carrot, and then we'll probably just go starter here. Okay. So second one's against Kashtira, yeah. And so he drew into a Big Bang, 2 talents, and I think it was like a Kashtira, Elements Kashtira, and Rise Heart, and I'm pretty sure I negated Rise Heart like 3 times or something, so he couldn't actually get that off. Yeah. Game number 3 was against Labyrinth. So the Labyrinth player, he was the one that I played Jinzo against. It was pretty funny. Jinzo, if you can get it off with like starter and then normal summon, tribute summon Jinzo, it's really amazing. Otherwise, you can make a cat and hope that they're stupid. But I probably wouldn't bother with the cat play. I feel like cat into a Jinzo is really difficult. So it's more like if you draw it and you can summon it, it's great. Right? It's just an auto win. This is more like a cheesy auto win deck, I guess. But yeah, if you can't, assume that your cat's not going to stick, because I don't think many Labyrinth players will summon a dark before they actually go into cat. Otherwise, they'll just like negate or pop cat before, right? So they might like set 5 and you can't do anything. I'd much rather have the 2 links up so I can link into starter to nuke the board. Yeah. Alright, so overlay here. There is an argument to now summon Gigantic and attack position because they can't Zeus anymore, so I prefer doing that now. So here, if you already have most of the sprites in rotation, as long as you can activate it, I get out the Scissors here. I feel like Scissors is actually really good. Scissors, okay, it's either Scissors or the sprite cards. So based on this hand, I can go into another starter afterwards. And because I already used a starter this turn, oh, Carrot's already here. Because I already activated starter this turn, I'm not going to be able to activate it again for the other red. So you either summon red or Scissors here. I kind of actually like Scissors. You can test it out and like figure out what you prefer. But yeah, Scissors, because you want to link them off anyways, right? So you might as well take one of the dead cards. Otherwise, actually, you could summon this, search for starter, and then your Scissors could be a red instead. So this is the other scenario. Okay, if I move this over, move these over, and this would be the other field, right? So you have a starter in hand off the Jet Search. Alright, and then game 4, and I lost the Labyrinth game, by the way. I lost it because I did a stupid misplay at the end. I don't remember what it was because it was last week. But yeah, that's that. Okay, game 4 was against Trap Tricks. So Trap Tricks was actually a pretty tight game. Typically, I win those games. Oh yeah, it also hits Trap Tricks. The Mannequin Cat. Mannequin Cat target any of the Earths on special, and then you can summon out Goliath as well, and they can't really go into Sarah unless they've already gone to Sarah in the case. It's whatever. They can't go into their Rafflesia or Xyz or whatever. Go Sprint. Can't really see the Sprint, but Sprint is there. I'll go Sprint, dump the Angler. Standard stuff. There's the Angler, and then 2 Beavers. Where's the second Beaver? I remember I didn't summon it out for the first. There we go. Yeah, so Trap Tricks, I won by 200 life points because they messed up and they panicked and just attacked without actually reading. So as soon as they summoned something, I was able to just sprint, bounce back their monster, so they couldn't attack for gain in life points. Yeah. Overlay here. Mannequin Cat. So Mannequin Cat, I feel like it's a pretty good blind going first opening because you have so many targets. You have fire, right? You have fire on these two. You have water if you really need it. Because like if they're playing some water side, let's say like Marincess, right? You don't have any other targets. You might as well summon like an Anglervac or something. I don't know. For a free body. Because it's free. Why not? You have Dark, of course, with the blue and the jet. But with fire, you can also summon back the Sprint as well. So if they somehow remove the Sprint versus or attribute it off, if they summon a fire type, you can summon Sprint back and then have the bounce again. Doesn't matter where it is as long as you can detach, and yeah, it'll be good. And then of course you have the Earth, Dragon, and then Light with Thunder King. So pretty good type coverage all over. Well, it's not the Pokemon now. Okay, this would be set, and then at the end you can activate Prosperity if you want to, because you haven't drawn yet. At this point, like, what are you even digging for? Maybe like an Imperm or something, right? A hand trap. Doesn't really matter. So we'll go 2, 3, 4, 5, and we've used Sprint already, so we'll dump Sprint. 6. This will be banished, and we'll go top 6. There we go. Right. Okay, because my current build doesn't have double cross anymore, I forgot that I could search it off Jet. So, in fact, these two will be swapped. Because if you go first, obviously you search the double cross because it's just better than starter. Especially with this board where you have a Xyz and a Link, right? So this would realistically be your searches. I'd say like Imperm, Ash, maybe Econ is fine. Yeah, maybe just Ash for like the general usage. And then put the rest back. And then that would be our board, right? The opening board. This in hand. And this in hand as well. So how many interruptions? We have 2 negates of 1 of each. This could be a very good interruption. It could just be a floodgate entirely. This is interruption. This is a bounce interruption. And you have a hand trap for interruption as well. Mainly just little guys just trying to stop the opponent from playing. Not very fun, but it is what it is, right? I reckon as the meta shifts, if it becomes more favored towards something else, there's definitely a very strong argument to take out the Goliath and Ryo. In fact, I think for today's build, when I go to locals later, I probably won't even run the Goliath in the main deck. I'm thinking of running like a going second deck, but it's a different build. I'm going to test that out and I'll let you guys know. Okay, game 5 was also against Traptrix. I won that 2-0. That was really easy. And game 6 was against Brandon Despiel. So I misplayed quite a bit. I, like an idiot, set starter, set something else. I think like double cross or something. While I had a Zeus on board where I just should have Zeused and popped the entire back row. This was under anti-spell as well, so they set all their spell and traps, spells to try and activate them next turn. I should have just Zeused first, cleared the entire board, they had nothing in hand, and then set the 2, set the starter and double cross. Would have just made the game so much easier, but I decided to play like an idiot, so yeah, it is what it is. Still won at the end of the day, so it was pretty nice, but yeah, that should be about it. I guess we'll do one more opening hand. This time it'll be like a going second hand, right? But of course this will be harder to do anything with. 5 cards there. And we'll draw 1 for turn as well. So double cross, that's always nice to see going second, right? Haha. Okay, there's a good blind going second card, and there's prosperity. So starting off, we'll probably start with change of heart, right? Take something, and then we'll probably prosper after. We'll just see 6. Okay, well, at this point, if I change of heart and prosperity, they've probably activated a hand trap, so talents could be very good. Sorry, yeah, thrust. Thrust could search out, evenly, lightning storm. Of course, those cards aren't valid with the change of heart. But we also have, talents. What else could we get? We could get, that's about it. So I was thinking of running Dark Hole as well, but I think this is fine. Yeah. So obviously, this might not be the correct order, but it's based on what your opponent has, right? Maybe Change of Heart is really good here, and they'll eventually use something to try and stop that. Otherwise, you can just normal summon Carrot, special blue on your Change of Heart target, and then link these 2 off to make sprint or something, and then go from there. Yeah, overall, I really like this deck. Still definitely viable. There's also the Adventure top that came in recently in YCS Lima, the Adventure sprite in the finals. I'll give my quick thoughts about that as well. I feel like there are too many bricks. The deck is way too inconsistent with like 50 cards with all the hand traps as well. So I don't really think that build is really nice. Of course, they did win, so props to them, but yeah, it's just my personal opinion on the build. Yeah, alright, that's about all. I'm gonna leave it at that. I feel like I've talked for quite a while. You can see the video is 32 minutes, 33, and counting. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in some other video. Take care. See ya.